high-quality public services and structures that promote thriving communities and prosperity for all Iowans. And I'm pleased to be joined today by the following members of the Coalition for a Better Iowa. And if I forget someone, please let me know. I'm not going to list you off by names, but by organizations you're representing. We have the Iowa Alliance for Retired Americans, the Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement, Iowa Community Action Association, Iowa Environmental Council, AFSCME, National Association of Social Workers Iowa Chapter, Results, and Visiting Nurse Services. And was there anybody? Oh, AFL-CIO. I'm sorry. And then, did I miss anybody else? Oh, Child and Family Policy Center. But the full list of our members can also be found in the press release. Last week, Governor Branstad released his budget. We believe he is sincere in trying to move Iowa forward. Unfortunately, he takes too many steps in the wrong direction. In short, this budget avoids the balanced approach Iowans need if we are to recover quickly from the recent recession and provide opportunities for prosperity in the coming years. We do not need to make big cuts in vital services to balance our budget, but we have to stop the raid on our state treasury by big corporations and those who would cut business taxes even further. Specifically, the governor's budget includes cuts to essential services that impact Iowans' daily lives and are crucial investments in our state's future. The proposed cuts include less funding for preschool, which we will restrict access for thousands of Iowa children whose parents will not have the means to send their 4-year-olds to quality early childhood programs, but will not qualify for the limited state assistance that would be made available. Freezing per pupil costs in school districts across the state, which will make it difficult for many districts to maintain teachers and staff, and cutting area education agencies that provide important resources shared by local school districts, including special education support. In the coming days and weeks, more specifics about proposed budget cuts will become clear. While cutting these and other critical services that represent long-term investments in Iowans, the governor is offering new tax breaks for businesses that are simply not needed and clearly not responsible. We cannot afford new tax credits that drain our state treasury when our governor is telling us that needed services must be cut back even more than we have seen in the last 2 years. Unfortunately, these tax breaks will only benefit a select few, not the greater good of Iowans, and will erode the public dollars needed for critical investments in education, public safety, healthcare, and the environment. The Coalition for a Better Iowa recommends alternatives for growing Iowa's economy and serving Iowans' needs. Some of these are not new, but opportunities lost before may be recaptured now. One example, closing corporate tax loopholes. Loopholes place small business in Iowa at a disadvantage to compete against big business. Small businesses pay their share while big corporations use their team of experts to keep from paying Iowa income tax. This is not right and is costing our state millions each year. Estimates have been as high as $100 million. Another example, restricting the use of research activities tax credit. This credit allows companies to apply for tax credits for completing research in Iowa. Most companies would do the research even without a subsidy, and in many cases, companies wind up paying absolutely no income tax. In fact, the credit is refundable, so in some companies, not only have their tax burden been wiped away, they get a check from the state on top of it. A report on the research activities tax credits will be released on February 15th. We will have our first good look at who's getting the big credits. We cannot afford this anymore. To help us illustrate our choices for the new budget, Mike McCarthy and Mike Draper have joined us to share their comments. Mike McCarthy is permanent deacon at St. Ambrose Cathedral here in Des Moines and a board member of the Central Iowa Chapter of Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement. We also have a local businessman, Mark Draper, who owns Ray Gun, a shop also here in Des Moines. We are very pleased to have them both with us today. With that, I will turn the microphone over to Mike McCarthy.